In this video, I want to share with you how to be attractive to girls if you are ugly or not that good looking or just average looking. And even though you're average looking, you've accomplished a lot. Let's say, you've worked really hard and you've gotten a great job and you've persevered and you've done all these accomplished stuff. You dress great, you've worked to have a decent shaped body, you're kind, you're friendly, you don't trick people, and you're a pretty normal guy, but you're still frustrated despite being honest, ethical, all this great stuff, and you're just very frustrated. So here's the thing. I have to give credit where it's due first. This didn't come from me. This came from the book Mate and the counterpart podcast called The Mating Grounds. Also, it was kind of inspired by a dating advice tip from a YouTube video years back that I can't even remember who said it. And it kind of triggered that memory when I heard this. So basically, for an attractive girl, her value is often upfront. It's clear, it's apparent, she knows it, other people know it because it is how attractive she is. It's put up front. If she looks attractive, if she puts on makeup, all this stuff, that value is displayed and everyone knows it's apparent. Whereas for you, your value is hidden. And therefore you hit this I don't want to use fancy words. You hit this place where when you first meet this girl and she doesn't know you and you don't know her, from her perspective, there seems to be a huge gulf. And she is more likely to assume that you're like every other guy who's just kind of average. And therefore, it's your job to display all those things that make you awesome and incredible because it is not displayed up front. They can't just look at you and just automatically realize, oh, this guy put in decades of work and he's going to be a great father. He's really hardworking. He's really caring. He's friendly. He's worked so hard to make all this money and do all this stuff, and he volunteers and all this stuff you've done and you've come from. They don't know that. So for you, you have to display that in a way, and that is one reason where all this frustration comes from, because a lot of guys, they just for a girl it's there, it's assumed, and then for a guy it's not. And what makes it even worse is a lot of these girls they can sometimes get a tiny bit arrogant about it, so that's a bit tough. Now, just as a quick note, make sure you actually have a bunch of this value hidden somewhere to display. If you don't, of course, there's plenty of advice online and all sorts of self-development books you can read on developing all those things, making money or getting fit or developing willpower or conscientiousness, friendliness, being a great father figure, all that stuff. That's all available in Mate, in the Mating Grounds podcast, and all sorts of other content online and offline. However, that being said, one great point that was brought up is that bars and nightclubs are some of the worst places to display that. And it takes a very counter approach to what all the advice out there online is saying now, which is the only place to meet a girl is a bar or a nightclub, or just randomly out in the public in a highly dense populated area. And the problem with that is most people don't have access to that. They're either too young or they don't live in one of the top 10 cities in the world, and they don't have the money to go to these bars and nightclubs all the time. Plus, on top of that, it's a very narrow age range, maybe 25 to 40 before it gets really weird being in there. And on top of that, it's highly competitive. You can't even talk because the music's so loud, and the whole environment is designed so you're not supposed to spend that much time in it. In fact, people who have gone deaf from just the blaring music. So the book Mate takes a counter approach to all that, and it basically says the best place to meet girls is not this bars and nightclub stuff. It's a lie that has been fed to you by dating experts, pickup artists, coaches, and whatever else. In reality, some of the best places are social activities, whether it's volunteering, dance classes, improv classes, a social gathering, a fitness class, etc., etc. And they say there's an infinite amount of options. I think there's more options in the city. I don't know about infinite, but there's more options when there's populated places, but there's still options outside of that in a smaller town. And the point is that by using these situations, you have a chance where you get more of a chance to show yourself before they reject you or before they move on. And you don't have to approach the music so there's no music that's so loud that you can't even talk, and on top of that you have more time to show that person who you are, and on and on and on. Whereas even in a place where it's maybe you approach in public, when you talk to them, they may be in a hurry, or it's just weird for them, so they cut you off quickly. And you know, even if you're really sociable and really skilled, maybe you'll have 5, 10, 20 minutes and you have to rush things, and that's at best. Sometimes they will cut you off and they'll say, sorry, not interested. And you have never fixed that gulf where the girl's value is up here and your perceived value is down here. And until you actually show them your full value, it's a weird thing. Now, of course, for myself, I try not to do that, but you can't assume every other person is gonna give that same level of chance. They're not gonna be like, you know what, I think this person may be more than just how they look. Maybe this guy's really ambitious or really cool or really awesome. I'm gonna, you know, spend more time here. And even for me, I'm pretty busy, so I can't just, you know, spend that long talking to someone. So the point is, read the book Mate. It goes into a lot more detail than I can cover in this video. And then check out a few episodes of its counterpart podcast, and they really talk about this. But the point is very simple. There is that perceived gulf, especially if the girl's really attractive. Her perceived value's up here. Even if that's all she has. Maybe that's all she really has. She's really attractive, but her finances aren't in order. She isn't making much money. She isn't doing much with her life. She has no ambition. She has no real future and everything else. But her perceived value is much higher than yours. And there's this false scenario that's taking place, which you need to fix. And so understanding that can really improve your confidence, because you start to realize, okay, maybe this girl isn't that awesome. And you won't take rejection as badly. And on top of that, you can really show this person how it's done. Of course, this video is specifically geared towards a specific demographic, which are those people who really worked hard to improve all these other areas of their life. They've worked out, they've gotten fit, they've improved their wealth, but they still struggle, even though they're really honest, ethical, great guys. Now, will this exact same situation and advice work that great for people who are trying to manipulate or trick people or whatever else? I don't know, because I don't want to serve those people, and it might not. So that's what I hoped you guys would get out of this, and hopefully it helps. I know it can be really frustrating from personal experience, but maybe it helps. And again, credit where credit dues. This didn't come from me. Go check out those books. I'll leave a link in the description, and I'll see you later.